1984, 751 people suffered food poisoning in the Dalles, Oregon, from a deliberate contamination of salad bars at 10 local restaurants. A group of prominent followers of Rajneesh, a spiritual leader from India who was pushed to leave India and start a commune called Rajneeshpuram in Oregon in the 80s, had hoped to incapacitate the voting population of the Dalles so that their own candidates would win the 1984 Wasco County elections. The incident was the first and is still the single largest bioterrorist attack in U.S. history. On top of that, further investigation revealed the largest wiretap in American history, the harboring of thousands of illegal immigrants, and the illegal production of biological and chemical weapons. So, how did this happen? Well, it all starts with the purchase. So Rajneeshpuram was on the site of a 100 square mile Central Oregon property known as the Big Muddy Ranch, near the town of Antelope, which was purchased by the commune in 1981 for $5.75 million. Within a year of arriving, the commune's leaders had become entrenched in a series of legal battles with their neighbors, primarily over land use. They had initially stated that they were planning to create a small agricultural community, their land being zoned for agricultural use, but it soon became apparent that they wanted to establish the kind of infrastructure and services normally associated with a town, because every normal town should have a biological and chemical laboratory to study effective methods of bioterrorism, right? This eventually became a city they would call Rajneesh, of around 7,000 people, possibly more. It is thought that the actual population during this time was potentially much higher than they claimed, and the Rajneeshis may have gone as far as to hide beds and citizens during investigations. Various legal conflicts, primarily over land, like I said before, escalated to bitter hostility between the commune and local residents, and the commune was subject to sustained and coordinated pressures from various coalitions of Oregon residents over the length of its existence. The June 1983 bombing of Hotel Rajneesh, which was a Rajneeshi-owned hotel in Portland, about 50 miles away from the Dalles, by the Islamist militant group Jamaat-ul-Fuqra, further heightened tensions. The display of semi-automatic weapons acquired by the Rajneeshpuram Peace Force created an image of imminent violence. The Peace Force was heavily armed with Uzi Model B carbines, Galil rifles, Ruger Mini-14 carbines, M1A rifles, CAR-15 carbines, Ruger Model 44 carbines, and Smith & Wesson 357 revolvers, which are all like the most stereotypical terrorist guns. Rajneesh's followers eventually gained political control of Antelope, Oregon, which is now a ghost town, in Wasco County. They wanted to expand and gain control of 2 of the 3 seats on the Wasco County Circuit Court that were up for election in November 1984. Some Rajneeshpuram officials feared that they wouldn't get enough votes, so they decided to incapacitate voters in the Dalles, the largest population center in Wasco County. The chosen biological agent was Salmonella enterica typhimurium, which they purchased from a medical supply company in Seattle. It was first tested on 2 county commissioners who came to visit the commune before the attacks, and then tested on produce at grocery stores, some doorknobs, and urinal handles. This didn't work though, so some members of the group brought the biological agent into a restaurant and spread it over the produce at a salad bar and possibly in the salad dressing. Fascinatingly enough, the leader of the commune, Rajneesh himself, did not directly order these attacks to be taken out. While he didn't exactly lead the most pious lifestyle, he was not found directly guilty of the terrorist attacks. In fact, Rajneesh was the one who blew the whistle on those in the commune who were responsible. The unfolding court case would reveal some very damning character testimony and utterly shocking espionage carried out by his subordinates. The main planners of the attack included Sheila Silverman, also known as Ma Anand Sheila, and Diane Yvonne Onang, also known as Ma Anand Puja, who was a nurse practitioner and secretary-treasurer of the Rajneesh Medical Corporation. They convinced 8 Rajneeshis to contaminate the produce at the salad bars as a trial run. The group also tried to introduce pathogens into the Dalles water system. If successful, they planned to use the same techniques closer to Election Day. They did not carry out this part of the plan, as the widespread panic led to their eventual discovery and conviction. As a result of the attack, 751 people contracted salmonellosis, 45 of whom were hospitalized. Thankfully, nobody died. Victims ranged in age from an infant, born 2 days after his mother's infection, to an 87-year-old. An initial investigation by the Oregon Health Authority and the Centers for Disease Control did not rule out deliberate contamination. The investigation identified the bacteria as Salmonella and initially concluded that the outbreak had been due to food handlers' poor personal hygiene, as workers preparing food at the affected restaurants had fallen ill before most patrons had. However, local residents and officials suspected that Rajneesh's followers were behind the poisonings. The attack only bolstered the locals to get out and vote in record numbers against the Rajneeshpuram candidates, rendering the poison plot unsuccessful. At any rate, only 239 of the commune's 7,000 residents voted, as most were not US citizens and couldn't vote. The outbreak cost local residents hundreds of thousands of dollars, and health officials shut down the salad bars of the affected establishments.
Switch it off!
The local panic at the time was widespread. One resident even said, people were so horrified and scared, people wouldn't go out, they wouldn't go out alone. People were becoming prisoners. Oregon Congressman James H. Weaver continued to investigate because he believed that the officials' conclusion did not adequately explain the facts. He contacted physicians at the CDC and urged them to investigate Rajneeshpuram. On February 28, 1985, Weaver gave a speech at the U.S. House of Representatives in which he accused the Rajneeshis of contaminating salad bar ingredients in 8 restaurants. As events later showed, Weaver had presented a well-reasoned, if only circumstantial case. These circumstantial elements were confirmed by evidence found after investigators gained access to Rajneeshpuram several months later. On September 16, 1985, Rajneesh, emerging from a 4-year period of public silence and isolation within the commune, held a press conference. He stated that his assistant Sheila and 19 other commune leaders had left Rajneeshpuram over the weekend and gone to Europe. He said that he had received information from commune residents that Sheila and her team had committed a number of serious crimes, calling them a gang of fascists running a concentration camp. He said they had tried to poison his doctor and Rajneesh's female companion, as well as the Jefferson County District Attorney and the water system in the Dalles. Rajneesh voiced suspicions that they had poisoned a county commissioner and Judge William Hulse, and that they may have been responsible for the Salmonella outbreak in the Dalles. He invited state and federal law enforcement officials to Rajneeshpuram to investigate. Of course, this was skeptically received by officials, and Rajneesh was suspect number 1 before some fascinating evidence would emerge. Oregon Attorney General David B. Frohnmayer established a task force among the Wasco County Sheriff's Office, the Oregon State Police, the FBI, the Immigration and Naturalization Services, or the INS, and the National Guard that set up headquarters at Rajneeshpuram to investigate the allegations. They obtained search warrants and subpoenas. 50 investigators entered the ranch on October 2, 1985. Skills found glass vials containing salmonella in the laboratory of a Rajneeshpuram medical clinic. Analysis by the CDC lab in Atlanta confirmed that the bacteria from the Rajneesh laboratory were an exact match to those that sickened individuals who had eaten at local restaurants. The investigation also revealed experimentation at Rajneeshpuram with poisons, chemicals, and bacteria. Michael Skills, director of the Oregon State Public Health Laboratory, described the scene at the Rajneesh laboratory as a bacteriological freezer-dryer for large-scale production of microbes. Investigators found a copy of the Anarchist Cookbook and literature on the manufacture and use of explosives in military biowarfare. Investigators believe that the commune had previously carried out similar attacks in Salem, Portland, and other cities in Oregon. The accused terrorists even boasted that they had attacked a nursing home and a salad bar at the Mid-Columbia Medical Center, but no such attempts were ever proven in court. As a result of the bioterrorism investigation, law enforcement officials discovered that there had been an abandoned plot by Rajneeshis to murder Charles Turner, a former United States Attorney for Oregon. The mayor of Rajneeshpuram, David Barry Knapp, admitted guilt and gave an account of his knowledge of the Salmonella attack to the FBI. He claimed that Sheila said she had talked with Rajneesh about the plot to decrease voter turnout in the Dalles by making people sick. Sheila said that Rajneesh commented that it was best not to hurt people, but if a few died, not to worry. According to Knapp's testimony, she played doubters a tape of Rajneesh's muffled voice saying, if it was necessary to do things to preserve Rajneesh's vision, then do it, and interpreted this to mean that murder in his name was fine, telling doubters not to worry if a few people had to die. However, these tapes were later discovered and believed to be heavily edited and decontextualized, as John J. Shelfer, Sheila's husband at Rajneeshpuram, recalled in 2020 that Sheila was very good at framing the issues in a way that would invite Rajneesh's approval of whatever she wanted to do. She might ask a general, broad question, get an answer, and then go back and use that as Rajneesh authorizing whatever it was that she wanted to do. She would provide and limit information as it would help support what she wanted. Sheila and Pooja were arrested in West Germany on October 28, 1985. After long negotiations between the two governments, they were extradited to the US, reaching Portland on February 6, 1986. They were charged with attempting to murder Rajneesh's personal physician, first-degree assault for poisoning Judge William Hulse, second-degree assault for poisoning the Dalles Commissioner Raymond Matthews, and product tampering for the poisonings in the Dalles, as well as wiretapping and immigration offenses. On July 22, 1986, both women entered guilty pleas for the salmonella attack and the other charges, and received sentences ranging from 3 to 20 years to be served concurrently. And although this was the largest bioterrorism attack and wiretapping fraud in the history of America, both Sheila and Pooja were released on parole early for good behavior after serving 29 months of their sentences in a minimum security federal prison. That's 2.3 years. Sheila's green card was revoked. She moved to Switzerland. She remarried there and went on to run 2 nursing homes. What is going on? This is the part of the whole story that really blows my mind. You almost kill 1,000 people under the guise of what is essentially a cult, and you only get 2.3 years in a minimum security prison. Yeah, why not? Let's go, justice system. As for Rajneesh, the leader of the commune, he left Oregon by plane on October 27, 1985, and was arrested when he landed in Charlotte, North Carolina. He was charged with 35 counts of deliberate violations of immigration laws. Rajneesh received a 10-year suspended sentence, a fine of $400,000 US, and was deported and barred from re-entering the US for a period of 5 years. He was never prosecuted for crimes related to the salmonella attack. He would return to India, and after landing in Delhi on November 17, 1985, he was given a hero's welcome by his Indian disciples and denounced the United States, quoting as saying the world must put the monster America in its place, and that either America must be hushed up or America will be the end of the world. In November 1987, Rajneesh expressed his belief that his deteriorating health was due to poisoning by the US authorities while in prison. His doctors and former attorney hypothesized radiation and thallium in a deliberately irradiated mattress, since his symptoms were concentrated on the right side of his body, but presented no hard evidence. Shortly before his death, Rajneesh suggested that one or more audience members at evening meetings, now referred to as the White Robe Brotherhood, were subjecting him to some form of evil magic. So he died a paranoid mess of a human. Why do the people who sell inner peace always seem to be the craziest and most unhinged? His followers said that he died because living in the body had become a hell. The property where the commune was based was sold in 1981 to a sole bidder for $4.5 million. After changing hands and failures to monetize, in 1996, Washington donated the ranch to Young Life, a Christian youth organization. Since 1999, Young Life has operated a summer camp there, first as the Wild Horse Canyon Camp and later as the Washington Family Ranch. There are 2 camps on the property today. The primary camp, Washington Family Ranch Canyon, serves high school students, while the smaller camp, Washington Family Ranch Creekside, primarily serves middle school students. Man, cults are weird.